Today is a good day. We're going to be working on our Burrows and Badgers roster today and painting up all these wonderful miniatures. Stick around to the end to hear some custom lore for each character. To start with, we have to do some modifications to the bases, and I always start that by cutting off the excess pewter. For this one, I need to drill holes in the bottom and in the stick, and then use a piece of paper clip to secure the metal mini to the wood. I did a similar thing here with the bird by cutting off all the excess basing material and then attaching a piece of paper clip. I have a 7-man roster, so we're going to be painting 7 minis today. The first guy we're going to be painting is the largest of the troop. It's a badger warrior. First up is the armor, which is really simple. It's just a black undercoat followed by a couple of silver dry brushes and a black wash. Following that, I work on the sword, which is a similar thing but using a sponge. Next, I put down some base coats of a blue and a green for the coat, and proceeded to do a 3-stage highlighting, getting progressively lighter with each of the green and the blues. The leather process I forgot to record, but you can see it here, and I've done a dark brown base followed by some lighter browns and kind of ochre colours highlights. I wanted these minis to be as close to their real life counterparts as possible, so I was working a lot off reference imaging, and you can see here the image I was using for the badger. And after doing the eyes and the last few finishing touches, not forgetting all the basing, we are done and can move on to the next mini. Next is the Mole Wizard. This is quite a quick one, so I just started with the same dark blue base coats, followed by a brown base coat for the robe, and again some pretty nice highlights for the brown and the blue. I did the tome in red and did some demonic scribblings on the pages. Next is the Mouse Archer. This guy was really cool actually, he was really fun. Started him the same way with the green and blue base coats. Followed by the same 3-stage highlights. This cape was actually really fun to kind of get some texture within the highlights. After painting all the wood sections brown, I decided to add some wood grain effects on the bow, and you can see that there. The fur was just a quick light brown base coat followed by a wash and some highlights going from brown to beige. Again, looking at the reference images, I think this is probably the most accurate to the colour that I got for any of the miniatures, and I'm really pleased with how this one turned out. Next up is the warrior hair. He was fairly simple, with the majority of his body just being covered in armour, which I did the same way I did the badger, with the black base coat and a couple layers of dry brushing. For his fur, we just did a dark brown base coat, followed by a wash and some individual highlights on each of his strands of hair. Looking at reference images for hairs, specifically brown hairs in the UK, you can see they have that kind of orangey brown coat and the pale grey leading up to a black tip on their ears. To tie him in with the rest of the roster, I put the eye patch as a blue colour, the same blue steps as the previous minis. And after some basing, I actually think he turned out really, really well. This next one was quite interesting because I chose a bird that I see in my own back garden, that being a goldfinch. The majority of goldfinches are actually black, but they have two striking things. One is yellow middle of their wings, and they also have kind of like a red patch across their face. I did the hood in the same blue that I've done throughout the roster. And once the basing was done, you can see how that pole really creates the illusion of the bird either taking off or landing. Next up we have the red squirrel. So I started this guy off by painting the branch, and I did this basically by first just putting a coat of wash followed by wet blending a bunch of greens and browns and greys together. I wanted to add something else, so I added a wire vine around the branch, then going back in and adding more browns and greens to really sell that mottled bark effect. The squirrel himself, I started with just a dark browny orangey red, followed then by a wash and again individual highlights on each of the hair sections. Blue and the green sections on the model got the same 3-level highlight as the other members of the roster. And finally we have the Dormouse Warrior. Now he's quite simple in the fact that he is just the blue and the green base coat majority of his body, followed by the same silver as previously done. For his face though, because dormice are quite light, I had to do a kind of yellowy brown followed by a wash and some highlights again, and that kind of came out like this. I think it looks pretty good. It's definitely different to the other mouse, which was the important thing. And now it's time for that all-important lore. Blackblade, a renowned badger mercenary who gains his name from his black sword. It is said as he hacks through his enemies, ash pours from their wounds rather than blood. Never defeated, he roams from battlefield to battlefield, searching for something no one knows. Brother Diaz, the mole wizard. Well versed in the healing magics of old, he tends to his patients in a hidden chapel beneath the earth. No one knows what he does down in the darkness. All they know is they come back from the dead. Miss Bessie, a ranger and a mouse mother who fights to protect her family and the ones she loves. Caspian, the Dormouse Warrior. Although small in stature, his rage and strength is matched by no beast, and is regarded as a legendary fighter due to his many victories against much larger foes. Sharpwing, the goldfinch. On the battlefield, you may only see a flash. Although small, he rains death from above, striking fast and fierce. Many have fallen to his blade. Colonel Cedric, the hare. He uses his speed and endurance to navigate the battlefield and strike swiftly where it counts most. Spanner the squirrel. Utilizing his climbing ancestry and speed, he rains arrows from all angles at once, creating confusion and destruction. And I hope you enjoyed those small snippets of lore. Let me know if you want to see more Burrows and Badgers content. Personally, I love this game, and I'd be more than happy to do some more. Next project I'm working on is the Blood Bowl Skaven team, so stay tuned for that.